Hello, how's it going, people? Welcome to the stream. Welcome. Hope everyone's doing fantastically well. Hope everyone's doing very good because, well, let's be real. If you're not happy, well, what is there still? But anyways, that was some weird stuff I said. I know, maybe I'm sleep deprived too much these days. But overall, yeah, Arsenal yesterday, 3-0 win against Zagreb Dinamo. Easy, light work, bore fest, I'm not gonna lie, snooze fest, half asleep and everything, but we got the job done. We're gonna talk about that a bit. Of course, we're gonna talk about transfers because we are legitimately a week. There's a week left only, pretty much, in January transfer window, and we still have signed nada. Links, just Linked FC, just On Fire FC. They want, they talk, but nothing is happening. There were rumors that Josh Kroenke apparently was also in London and everything. Maybe he's here for some money deal, but he should have done that already in November, December. But it is what it is. At least on some level, maybe later than ever, of course. But yeah, still, we haven't signed anyone, which is the most embarrassing thing you can ever imagine. Still, these internal solutions. When Yuri is back, he played yesterday. Breath of fresh air in the team. I'm not gonna lie. Fast, agile, direct, attacking. And when Yuri is back, and it kind of leads me to believe that we are not gonna sign a forward. I'm not gonna lie, so we're gonna look into that as well, of course, regarding transfers and everything. But of course, there are still some bits and bobs to talk about. Maybe if we have enough time, we will look at press conference Arteta gave after the Zagreb game. But ultimately, yeah, everything today is going to revolve around Arsenal. Of course, obviously. Transfer rumors. Game against Dinamo Zagreb, Champions League, and all that good stuff. So, if you haven't already, smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Leave your thoughts down in the live chat. Definitely gonna read them all. We're gonna tackle them. We're gonna discuss them. And yeah, if you're watching this a playback, of course, leave your comments down below. And I answer pretty much to every single comment I get. So, let's dig straight in without any further hesitation, and we gonna look at basically, of course, we're gonna look at Arsenal versus Dinamo Zagreb. 3-0 win. Rice already scored in the second minute, which was quite unique because Arsenal tend to not to score very quickly, or because we start first 20-25 minutes on fire and then we disappear from the planet Earth and then we fall asleep for the rest of the game half the time. And I mean that from Arsenal's point of view and actually from viewers' point of view as well to some extent. But ultimately, yeah, Rice scored in the second minute. Pretty much never in doubt the game. They didn't present any threat whatsoever. Arsenal was controlling possession most of the time, was doing everything. Basically, we were in cruise control. We played like we were preserving energy for the Wolves game that's gonna happen on Saturday. So we gonna... Saturday? I think it's Saturday. Yeah, we're gonna wait and see how that goes because the game's at Molineux. It's not even at Emirates, so... tough wait. Of course, yesterday Donkey Kai scored. We're gonna talk about that, about Donkey Havertz as well. And Pillow Guard, the guy who has no power in his legs, actually got a goal, which is actually quite nice. Might be maybe gonna do something good for his confidence. I hope so, at least, because so far he's been quite awful, at least creating wise and everything. But it is what it is. But yeah, 3-0 win, 17 shots, only 4 on target. That is something we need to address quite immediately, I'm not gonna lie. That is something. Big up Nathan, my guy, big up. Only 4 shots on target out of 17. We missed 13 shots on to hit the target. About 3-4 of them should have been at least on target from those, some of the chances. Rice missed an open header. Havertz should have been on a hat trick and everything. And if that doesn't prove that we need a striker, I don't know again what will. And that is happening pretty much every single game we play. I'm not gonna lie, every single game. If you watch the games, you'll probably see this as well. Because if we had a competent striker up front, if we could finish our dinner, many times we could actually score quite a few goals, especially when Havertz gets the chances. Because if we had a half-competent striker up front, at least, I think at least like 30-40% of the chances that Havertz misses, we actually could convert into goals. And ultimately that most likely would lead probably during the season us being, well, let's be real, on top of the table. Or at least join with Liverpool at worst. So I guess it is what it is. I guess we're going to talk about Havertz instantly. Big up Harry, big up my guy. I heard Everton want Tierney and another report said he signed pre-agreement with Celtic. Yeah, it's basically in transfer news, it's every single ITK and sports journalist, hot topic reporter, they are saying things, and half the time it's kind of mad how contradicting they are. One says one thing, one says the other, and cancels each other out. And that is on consistent basis. We're gonna look at some transfer news today as well, of course, regarding Šeško, Vlahovic, Cunha, and players like that. And of course, yeah. And it's all contradicting. One says this, one says that, and ultimately one says something positive, one says something negative, and at the end of the day, nobody knows what's going on. But I guess that is the case to build up the hype, like to make it look like something is happening, to put it out, get some clicks. Obviously, you have to earn money somehow. So anyways, it is what it is. But back to Kai Havertz. He scored yesterday, which is great, because that's what strikers should do. The thing is, though, he should have been on a hat-trick yesterday. He should have been on a hat trick, even with the regular chances we got. If we in general, as I said, Arsenal played in a very energy preservative mode, like on phone you have the energy saving mode. Obviously, when your battery drops low, and Arsenal felt like they played that way. Yes, they cruise control, no nothing. They knew they're gonna beat them no matter what. The early goal pretty much did that already. Second minute we scored, and throughout the rest of the 88 minutes, not including at the time, they didn't do anything. Zagreb didn't do anything, and yeah, I guess that is the case. But to be honest, I know this win was a necessity for Arsenal. Not just for the fact that we are through in Champions League, maybe not in top 8 as reassured, but we are definitely in top 16. Let's be real, we are going through. There looked like we could be going on a trip to Dubai again. Maybe something will change there as it did last year. Maybe they will eat some man's meat, and well, that sounded weird, not like that, but you get what I mean. And they will maybe do something there, and that will maybe get something flowing in those terms. But I started talking about Kai Havertz, and in that regard is the fact that Kai Havertz scored, which is fantastic, right? The issue with this is, though, the way I look at this, I look at from the both sides, basically, of the coin. One side says Kai Havertz scored, it is fantastic, and we still need a striker because he's not clinical enough and he's not the guy, because a proper striker would have been a hat-trick. We still need a striker, right? The other side of the coin, however, for me, is telling this. We need a striker. Havertz is getting goals on semi-consistent basis. Let's be real, he's our top goal scorer in all competitions this season and all that jazz and everything, right? Which means if Havertz keeps scoring, the chances of us signing a striker get smaller and smaller and smaller. It happened last summer as well. Havertz went on a purple patch in terms of goal scoring. He was in a very good goal scoring form the second part of the season after the Dubai trip, which basically showed Mikel Arteta that maybe he doesn't need a striker. He's gonna replicate that throughout the whole season. He believed that. It's been reported. And at the end, we didn't sign a striker in summer. Now, again, Havertz is slowly picking up his goals here or there on multiple instances. And again, we could be looking at the same issue. Like, genuinely. If Havertz starts hitting goals, there is a chance we in the summer are not going to sign a striker. Because we are in a desperate need to sign a striker, and in January we are doing nothing. Oh, we are linked with Šeško. Oh, we are linked with Vlahovic. Oh, we are linked with Cunha, who is not even a striker, by the way. Oh, we are linked with A, B, C, and D. I'm surprised we are not linked with Benzema again. And stuff like that. But ultimately nothing materializes. No proper bids have gone in. West Ham are showing more ambition with putting in bids for John Duran. Seriously. Nottingham Forest are showing more ambition to even signing Cunha. Like, well, going in for Cunha, at least they're gonna attempt to put like a 50-60 million bid there and see what sticks at the end of the day. So, I don't know. It's a weird thing. And of course, Pillowguard, our so-called captain, scored yesterday as well. 90+1, with a knee, he scored a goal. Hopefully that helps him. I'm just going to put it that way. I've been on Odegaard's case quite heavily in the recent months, because since coming back from that ankle injury, he's been just a shadow of himself. Let's be real. He's afraid. It looks that way, that he's afraid. He maybe not be fully fit even. Maybe he's been rushed back. Who knows? But he's playing very safe. He's doing the safe things. He's not maybe going for 50-50 challenges. He's pulling out of the tackles and everything. And it's kind of annoying. It is hella annoying, because it's the captain. You should lead by example. And you don't show any example whatsoever. So in that regard, at least, so it's a weird one. It generally is a weird one. So time will tell, only, of course. But I guess it is what it is. We're gonna get to Tierney, by the way. We're gonna get to Tierney, Nathan, in a second. Just want to be February, tired of these sagas. Exactly. I'm tired of these sagas as well. One of the good sagas that ended today is the fact that Juventus signed Colomwani on loan, which means Arsenal had no chance in hell. Arsenal are signing him. That is the only good news I've seen today regarding Arsenal. Genuinely. Nothing more, nothing less. Rice has been so good. Yeah, Rice actually has been very, 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 very good. Very good recently, I'm not gonna lie. He has picked up pace. And to be honest, while we're speaking on good forms, in the last 2, 3, maybe even 4 games, Martinelli has been quite decent. Okay, I'm not gonna get ahead of myself because this was Dinamo Zagreb, let's be real. They don't have a season going on currently and they only play friendly games and they will maybe not in the best of forms. But ultimately, Martinelli has been quite decent recently as well. He's maybe not running down the byline as much. He's cutting in and whipping in crosses. And yesterday he whipped in about 3 or 4 very good crosses, which ultimately, I think he whipped in like 4 crosses, and 3 of them should have resulted into a goal ultimately. And we scored only 1 of them. Havertz scored the one, where he just had to put the head in the right angle pretty much. Same happened from the right side. Raheem Schillings, we're gonna get to him in a second, the goddamn bastard, did nothing. Ranieri came on and he did a Saka-esque cross as well. And Declan Rice basically wide open in front of the net. He could pick any corner to shoot. He hit nearly the corner flag with his head. Like, seriously, header that hit nearly corner flag. But I guess it is what it is. Yeah, Martinelli is still too wasteful. But I'm gonna admit this. And I'm gonna say this openly, that if you compare, for example, last 4 games for Martinelli compared to for the whole season he played until these last 4 games, he has gone better. He looks more confident. He's playing better. Let's just put it that way. And that is something we want to see as an Arsenal fans, because let's be real, 22-23 season, we saw what Martinelli was all about. More or less. And we thought there's the only way up from here. He's not going to dip. But ultimately, he's been shot of himself ever since. But we all have this image how good Martinelli can be. And we want him to replicate this game in, game out. And the fact that we know how good he can be and he's not living up to that potential is basically why it's pissing off every single Arsenal fan at the end of the day. But I guess it is what it is. I touched on Raheem. Big pause there, but Raheem Schillings, utterly useless. If there's a possibility, there is no possibility. I was about to say if there's possibility to cancel his loan, but there is no possibility. Because in his contract, there are no cancel clauses, which means he's with us till the end of the season, and he's washed. He's done. He's useless. If he cannot perform even against Dinamo Zagreb, I don't know what do we expect. You haven't seen the best of me yet. You're gonna see the best of me. If this is the best of you, I never want to see you on the pitch ever again. Seriously. I know we are lacking attackers, but I much rather play Kabia, our 19-year-old youngster from under 21s, at that right wing, than Raheem Sterling. 100%, no questions asked. That has been quite embarrassing. Then get a winger at least, Barcola. That is the biggest thing. PSG just signed Kvaratskhelia, right? And he's a left winger. Barcola predominantly plays on the left wing. So how do they envision this? Because there is no chance in hell Barcola is gonna hold bench. And in my opinion, there should be no chance in hell that Kvaratskhelia is holding the bench. So what they're gonna do? Play one on the right? Or what? Because this is the big question that they need to now answer. Maybe, I don't know. It's a weird one, but that's a PSG problem ultimately. A breakdown. Yeah, obviously, we were never interested. It's just random rumors that floating around. Because, let's be real, we are linked with the same goddamn players every single window. There is pretty much nobody new that emerges. Šeško has been last summer and now. Vlahovic has been the latest thing for the last 3-4 windows. It's the same thing. It has never changed. It's the same players, and that's what's basically weird in all of this. Let's be real. It never changes. Sometimes you're funny, dude. I don't even know. Sometimes I don't even know why I said it. It just came out, and that's about it. But yeah, 3-0 win. Not good. That was a win that team needed. Like I don't know what after the week we had against Aston Villa, against Newcastle and Manchester United. That was something necessary. Maybe that will start to build up some momentum. So for us going into Premier League, obviously, and everything. And it is what it is. Obviously, if we look at starting lineup, there was something I really loved. The fact that Partey wasn't a right back. That was the thing I loved the most. Partey was not at right back. I was confused why Zinchenko is playing, but ultimately it didn't matter who plays left back. I was just happy that Skelly didn't play, because arguably he has been our best left back this season, as wild as it sounds. And he needed a rest because the amount he has been playing, it's actually kind of wild. Jorginho played, did somewhat game. It is what it is. Odegaard, Sterling, Havertz, the usual suspects played. And Arteta actually did something we were moaning about after the Aston Villa game. Why we didn't play Kivior at center back and Timber as a right back? Why we didn't do that? And now he actually did that. And I hope that for the game against Wolves, we're gonna look at it tomorrow, I think. We don't see Thomas Partey as a right back again. I want to see Timber there. I don't care who plays center back again, but I don't want to see Timber at center back whatsoever. I'm gonna be honest with you. But yeah, we're not gonna do ratings or anything like that. Arsenal won 3-0, solid win. Hopefully that helps us build up some momentum going into the league games. Now, here is the big things. Transfers and all that crap. Basically, in terms we are speaking about Arsenal, kind of have to say all that crap because there is nothing to be talking about. Mikel Arteta has spoken on playing Declan Rice as a center back. It has been in my head. I know that he has the ability that offering something different to the other central defenders. The reality is we don't have right footers in that position. I get it, but I also am kind of annoyed with the fact that there is this massive obsession with playing right-footed center back at right, left-footed center back at left. Like 10-15 years ago, nobody gave a crap which foot was your dominant foot. The main question was, can you defend and can you defend properly? And now there's a big emphasis. Oh, if he's left-footed, he's gonna open up that player. He will be more comfortable in that position. How about, can he play actually football? Can he pass? Can he shoot? Does he have good footballing IQ? Does he read the game well? Does he make good runs? And everything. Does he have defensive awareness? How about that? Genuinely, how about that? Not gonna lie, how about all of that? That is also a big thing that... what do you think of Alvaro Carreras from Benfica? I'm not gonna lie, I need to see the picture. Because that name a bit resonates with me, but I don't remember why. He's Spanish, he is... He joined from Manchester United. He just joined from Manchester United for 6 million. I'd rather get Miguel Gutierrez, not gonna lie, from Girona. Because Miguel Gutierrez, he looks like a proper left back. He looks like a baller. Can pass, can shoot, can defend. He can do it all. He's on about 3-4 grand a week only at Girona. So that actually could be a very good signing in that regard. We were linked with him before, by the way. We were linked him before about 2 years ago or last year. I don't remember. There was a time. He's a left back. He would cost about 30-40 million. Let's put it that way. Champions League, 6 games, 1 goal. In La Liga, he starts every single game. 1 goal, 4 assists. For me, he is the left back Arsenal would need, in my opinion. That is the case. But the biggest thing is, see, Nathan, you're saying this, right? If we have at least 2 left backs leaving, we need a new one. But I don't think Arteta sees it that way. Because there is possibilities Zinchenko leaves, right? Tierney is leaving. That means we lose technically 2 left backs. Technically. We have Skelly there, which looks like he's gonna play there, looking at Mikel Arteta. We have Calafiori, who can play there if we look at Mikel Arteta. And if Kivior doesn't leave, we have 3 options to play as a left back. And I don't think Arteta will change that much. That is the big thing for me. unless we have only one player in that position, I don't think we will change too much. Plus, he has played Timber there, so don't be surprised that at some point we see Timber there again. Don't be surprised about that as well. When Ben White comes back, Timber will be shifting around like no tomorrow as well. I kind of can see that. Or when White is going to play center back, then he's going to play right back. They're going to shift around a bit. I kind of see that happening as well. But I get your point. I totally get your point that he is dumb. To be honest, we all know if it makes sense, Arsenal won't do it. So keep that in mind. But I get this point. If we have at least 2 left backs leaving, we'll need a new one. If we actually count the players who play for us at left back overall, right? Think about this. We have Skelly, Calafiori, Zinchenko, Tierney, Kivior, Timba. There are 6 players. 6? We technically have 6 left backs in the team. When push comes to shove, some are, and Tomiyasu as well. I don't even know if he's still at the club. He's injured all the time. Haven't seen him kick a ball. He has played 10 minutes this season and he's been injured again. So might as well not count him if he's not available. He also needs to get sold, by the way. But yeah, we have 7 left backs, technically. If we sell 2, even if we sell 3 to some extent, I kind of get the feeling that Arteta won't view it as a big issue. Because he will still have Skelly, he's not selling him. We will still have Calafiori, he's not selling him. We still have Timba, he's not selling him. So, in Arteta's eyes, there is a possibility that he views this thing like that. Like, technically. That is something we need to take into account as well. Yes, we technically need an out-and-out left-back. We have out-and-out left-back. That is the biggest issue. And we are selling him. So, I don't know how Mikel is going to look at this. But ultimately, I guess it is what it is. This came out yesterday that Arsenal are pushing for Benjamin Šeško. The player wants the move. That was to Marble Halls. Obviously, take that with massive grain of salt. Anyways, this was something unique yesterday. Arsenal Football Club tweeted out after Havertz scored this. Clinical. I don't know how many shots I would need to do to call Kai Havertz clinical. I don't know how many shots. I either rather not find out. I may actually pass out before I actually even think about it. But there is no chance in hell that Kai Havertz and clinical should be in the same sentence. That is the big thing. 2 GA though. But what? Clinical. And now count the goal. He should have been on a hat-trick yesterday. He should have scored 2 or 3 goals against United. He should have scored 2-3 goals against before that. The game after that against Aston Villa, he should have scored as well. But what he did? He missed empty net chances. He missed from 2 yards out. He missed from 5 yards out. He has a header that he tries to head the ball, but it hits his shoulder and everything. He's a striker. Yes, he needs to get GA. He needs to score. If he gets a chance, he can assist. I get that. But to call him clinical, for me, would resonate if you actually finish the chances you get. But ultimately, when you look how he plays and how many he converts the chances, he converts about, 16% of chances he gets. 16%. If you compare it to Gyökeres or someone like that, Gyökeres converts about 36% or 38% of chances he gets. So pretty much every third shot he shoots, it's in the back of the net. I know it's Portuguese league, but you get the idea of the comparisons at least. That striker is a striker and Havertz is not a striker ultimately at the end of the day. That is the big thing for me. He is not clinical. Yeah, he scores, gets GA, but ultimately he's still not good enough. Yes, he's still not good enough. Big up Kwame, by the way. Big up. I'm doing great. Sleep deprived, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm doing great. Hope you're doing well as well. I have just Osman, a man, I tell you what, man is a clinical finisher and we shouldn't waste time to sign him. We won't sign Osimhen. That front has been hella silent. Not gonna lie. Like Ramos for PSG. Ramos took his chance very well, but Ramos is also not a striker I would want at Arsenal. He's quite a bit out of favor at PSG as well, because if you look at his numbers at Benfica, phenomenal. At PSG, it's like Colomwani situation. At Eintracht, phenomenal. At PSG, let's just put it that way. The Kroenke should sell now. Yeah, Kroenke should sell the club now. Sell them to Saudis, Qataris, whoever. But sell them. But I get Gonçalo Ramos. I get it. I get Gonçalo Ramos. I wanted him at Arsenal when he was at Benfica. But when he left Benfica and he plays, it's similar like Darwin Núñez to some extent, I'm not gonna lie. At Benfica, he missed a lot of chances, but he had GA, and he comes to Premier League, and he gets GA, but again, that's the weird thing with players you sign from Portugal, specifically strikers to some extent, attackers. They do the hard stuff, not that hard stuff, what you think. Forget about that. They do the hard things on the pitch phenomenally. And when it comes to the final touch, the easiest chance after you have done all the hard work, they ball it. It's kind of weird that they cannot get it into balance, into shape to do that. No, they made 150 more than last year. They won't sell. Exactly. Wait, who was that? Yeah. Kroenkes. Yeah. Kroenkes, yeah, they won't sell. Arsenal will finish I think the year 2024 with a loss, but ultimately they still made profits compared to year before that. So ultimately they are not selling unless Arsenal in Kroenke's valuation is about 5 to 6 billion, more or less, because Arsenal's overall value is about 2 to 3 billion. I would say about 2 billion, right? Given the players and everything, the name that it carries and all that stuff, the brand, if you get what I mean. So to get something back or get some influence, they will make money no matter what when they sell. But overall, I think that was also when Daniel Ek wanted to sign. They offered him what, 2-3 billion for Arsenal, if not 4, and they rejected him. So I think to sell Arsenal, it would take Kroenke about 5-6 billion to sell them, if not more. Ultimately, if not more even. But that is the biggest thing. Arsenal for Kroenke is the cash cow. And if they sell Arsenal, they will lose their cash cow. And if they're businessmen and your cash flow isn't as good, they're done. Robert, you're right. If it was Arabs, they would have given Arteta the checkbook to sign on. Dude, if this was Arabs, we would have signed all the players we need already. There would be no dilly-dallying. Plus, if you look even at like how they are running Man City, or Newcastle, whatever, they don't stand for bullshit. You either do the job right or you don't do it at all and you get sacked. Because Eddie Howe recruits properly. Obviously, City recruits properly, and they're proper teams. Ultimately, they are rising, especially not City, but I mean more Newcastle. What about Coleman? What Coleman? Anyhow, this came out today. I wanted to pick your brain. That sounds very weird, but don't pick your brain. Your ideas. I wanted to hear your thoughts about this. Apparently, several clubs in the Premier League have Victor Boniface on their radar. The striker could be available for around 50 million euros, which is about 45 million pounds. Right? And Boniface was on fire 2 seasons ago. No, season and a half ago, right? He's of course from Bayer Leverkusen and all that jazz. And would you take him at Arsenal? For me, Victor Boniface screams, for example, West Ham. For West Ham, or maybe not Aston Villa, but definitely West Ham, since they had Fulkrug, Andy Carroll. You get the usual, the tall guys, Aller and players like that. So Boniface kind of screams West Ham for me. But would you take him at Arsenal? Fulham as well, yeah, with Jimenez. Yeah, Nathan, big up. Sorry, misclick. Yeah, big up. Yeah. Fulham, yeah. Yeah, now, I'm not saying Arsenal are interested, but the question to you, would you take him at Arsenal if there was an opportunity? For example, Arsenal are, Arsenal have the usual rumors. Arsenal have agreed personal terms with Victor Boniface. And Arsenal are currently negotiating fee with Bayer Leverkusen. Bayer Leverkusen want £45 million. Arsenal want to pay 35 with 10 millions in add-ons, for example, right? Now, the question for you is, would this guy, to some extent, be the guy for you or be the answer for our striker issues? At least till summer when we can maybe sign someone bigger. Maybe he could be the secondary striker. Or not. Could he be the guy? Well, said Arabs wouldn't waste time by giving the checkbook to Arteta to sign us. To be honest, Arabs wouldn't even sign Arteta. Let's be real. If Arabs were owning Arsenal and Ancelotti was available, he would be at Arsenal. Ancelotti would be at Arsenal. They would sign top of the top managers, and then they would invest in the top of the top players with a proper plan, system, and everything. Boniface is not the kind of player Arsenal want. That's the thing. I get that because Mikel Arteta wants the players. Emphasis on the word want. Wants the players that can play multiple positions. They can be versatile. He can put them as an 8, as a 9, as a 10, as a winger, maybe 3-4 positions like Kudus, like Cunha, players like that, right? I totally get that. But look at, I'm trying to look this from the other perspective. A player that Arsenal need is a specialist up top. We have specialists at center back who don't play any other position. Obviously, goalkeeper is also a specialist. And technically, you could say Thomas Partey is a specialist as a 6. He's just misused as a right back. Same goes for Rice. He's a 6 misused as an 8 for me personally, right? So he's a specialist in that. Bukayo Saka is the right winger and he's a specialist in that position. If you take everyone else out, if you take those players out, every other player in Arsenal's team is not a specialist. They play multiple positions. Which overall sounds like a very good thing, because if someone gets injured, you can replace them. If something happens, red cards, lots of things can happen, right? But there should be a core players, at least down the spine of your team, striker, number 6, center backs, and a goalkeeper, that are specialists in those positions. Because Pep will never ask Rodri to play right back, for example. Or Haaland to play right wing. Right? Same goes for example, Wenger. Wenger would never ask for Patrick Vieira to play as a right back, for example. He would never ask that because it makes zero sense whatsoever. Same goes for Hansi Flick at Barcelona. He would never ask for Lewandowski to play left wing, for example. He would never ask, well, they don't have a proper 6, but you get what I mean. For example, Frankie de Jong would never play right back. Pep wouldn't ask Busquets to play as a right back. Or you get what I mean, the idea at least. That is for me, that is the case. There are two things, what Arsenal want or what they need. And for me, Arsenal need an out-and-out bagsman up top. He probably could work maybe, but there's no way we value him that high. That's the thing. I think Arsenal would value Boniface around 35 to 40 million. That is at least my estimate how high Arsenal would be valuing him. Let's look at his stats. Just arguably, Victor Boniface. Transfermarkt values him at 45 million, which is around what? 40 million pounds. This season, 10 games, 6 goals, 1 assist. He's not starting too much. I assume there was an injury involved because there's no other chance he's starting this low. Yeah. This season, he has had 3 injuries. He has missed 12 games, which makes a lot of sense because 12 plus 10, 22 with Bundesliga, it makes total sense. And before that, he every season misses quite a big amount of games, by the way. 23. This season, 12. This is the lowest one. Before that, he got injured only, 4 years ago. So might not be that bad. See, he missed 12 games, 23 games, 56. That was a Bodo Glimt, by the way, so take that with some pinch of salt. But yeah, Boniface. What are his stats saying? Because that is also a big thing. Obviously, for stats merchants, that could be like a question mark. Could that work? Victor Boniface is to be honest, I'm going to be honest, I would take Victor Boniface at Arsenal. But for me, Victor Boniface would not be the main option. In January, as a temporary signing till the end of the season, I would take him for about 35-40 million. And in summer, invest in a proper striker. I would take something like that at least. See, last season in Bundesliga, in 23 games, he played 23 games, he had 14 goals, 9 assists. So 23 points out of 23 games. So that's actually not that bad, if you ask me. Point per game ratio. Wouldn't be the worst if he could replicate that. But there's no chance Arsenal, as Nathan is saying, would value him that high. I reckon Osimhen will be signed in the summer. I don't think we will sign this month. And that is the big thing. Arsenal need to sign now if they want to have any chance of even thinking about winning the title in Premier League. Or Champions League to the two, by the way. Because we're in it. As long as you're in it, you might as well try and go for it, ultimately. So that is, for me, also the big question. We are in it. Why not go for it? Because the way I see these things happen when teams challenge a lot for the leagues and everything. First season, you challenge. Okay. You didn't win it, you finished second. Next season, you have that hunger and that anger. You again don't win it, you again challenge, you push it till the final day. At some point, the mental fatigue starts to settle in and everything. And you can usually see after in the third, fourth season the teams drop off massively. Especially if you in this chasing process don't invest properly to have the longevity in this challenging aspect. Because that's what happened to Liverpool. They challenged for a few seasons, they won that one season, and while they were winning this Premier League, Champions League, they didn't invest. They didn't have Fabinho backup, they didn't have Matip backup properly, Van Dijk doesn't have a backup. It took them some time. We saw that. It took them a few years to kind of invest again properly to build it back up. So I think there is also something to be added to that. Supposing Arteta wants Boniface. Supposing. I don't know. It says several Premier League teams. Go figure. Osimhen, Isak, Gyökeres, Duran, Omorodian. That's my striker list. Osimhen, Isak, Gyökeres. That's the thing. You ask me. For me, I would take one of those strikers. Omorodian, for me, would be one for the future, arguably, right? If I want someone right now, I would go for Osimhen or someone like that. If Arsenal are not willing to pay 150 million, for example, for Isak, I would go for Osimhen or Gyökeres. Or if I can't get those, then get Duran, ultimately, right? Omorodion could be one of the backup to rotate, obviously. But that is the thing. I say that is the thing too much. My brain is totally a mush today. The way I see it, Arsenal will sign only one striker. Because in Arteta's eyes, Havertz is the other striker. So Arsenal, we have to prepare for only one striker signing as well. Osimhen for me only. See, Kwame wants Osimhen. They probably want wage of Zinchenko first. And that is the big thing. Since you mentioned that, right? We were with Boniface, we talked about Boniface and players like that. Here is the thing. According to Telegraph and everything, Borussia Dortmund are ready to move for Alexander Zinchenko, with left back expected to leave Arsenal before the transfer window shuts. So if this actually happens, right? Zinchenko is expected to leave Arsenal before the January transfer window shuts. Borussia Dortmund are in the market for a new left back and are believed to have put Zinchenko at the top of their list. Now, here is the thing. And again, I said the thing. My brain. Work. Words. Use your words. That, for me, is the case. This really stinks of the summer window. Where, again, it looks like we need to sell to buy. We have never been that club. We don't have PSR, FFP issues. Accountants and everything who are invested in these things, in calculating the expenditure and everything, kind of have said that Arsenal don't have these issues. I get it. That Arsenal maybe are paying for Raya in installments. So they maybe add 20 million this season, 10 million this season. Same goes for Declan Rice maybe, or something like that. But ultimately, it looks like we will need to sell Zinchenko to even have a chance to sign anyone else. Yes, Zinchenko gets 150 grand a week, which is a lot. A lot of money if we can manage to take it off the books, by the way. If we can sell him for about 25-30 million, I assume Arsenal will go for someone a bit bigger. Because if, and there is a big if coming, If the Zubimendi rumors are true, that Arsenal wanted him to join right now in January, and we're willing basically for that to happen, for him to join in January, Arsenal would need to pay his release clauses in full, 51 million on the dot right now in January. If that is the case and that is true, Arsenal have at least 51 million to spend in January. If we manage to sell Zinchenko for about 25-30 million, that gives us over 70 million potentially to spend in January. If that is the case, we could potentially easily sign Osimhen, could go for Gyökeres or someone like that. There is a possibility of that. But again, the biggest issue is, can we sell? Because as much as I hate these situations, it looks like summer window, as I said. We need to sell some players so we can buy someone. Because it happened in summer as well. We sold Emil Smith-Rowe, we bought Calafiori. We sold Nketiah, we bought Merino. I know I might be reading too much into it, I might be looking too much into it. But from outside looking in, the way we conducted business last summer, with the long month and a half negotiations for Calafiori, 1 month negotiations for Merino, who was in the last year of his contract, right? It kind of stinks of that, as much as I hate to say this. I don't think so. I don't think Dortmund have announced a new manager yet, as of yet. Who is to blame for the time wasting to get a striker? All of them. To be honest, who is to blame? I would say Mikel Arteta. And let me explain this, because you may think I'm picking on Arteta intentionally, but I'm not. Kroenkes gave Mikel Arteta nearly 800 million, right, to spend over the last few years. We binned Aubameyang, I have never replaced him. In these 5 years, we have spent about 120 million from those nearly 800 million, so basically about 16% of the money only on attackers. And that includes signing Trossard, 30 million, something like that. Signing, who else? Jesus, 45 million. And signing Havertz, technically. Even though he's a midfielder, let's count him as a striker because Arteta wants him to play there. So 65 plus 45, that's 110, plus 28, plus 25, that's 135 million. So that's 1/6. 1/6 of the almost 800 million transfer budget he has invested in our attack over the course of the last 5 years. Which is clearly not enough in any chance in hell whatsoever. So my opinion on this is that it's Mikel Arteta is to blame. Because it's easy to pick on Kroenkes because of this. Because we need striker right now, we are not signing one. And who is signing the checks? Obviously the Kroenkes. But if we look at the fact that they gave Mikel Arteta 800 million, he hasn't signed a striker and hasn't replaced Aubameyang over the last 3.5 years. 3.5 years? 4 years, sorry. 4 years. We had chances. We had opportunities. There were players. There were possibilities. It's Mikel Arteta who didn't sign them, together with Edu. Depends. Maybe Edu wanted him, maybe not. Who knows? But now that Arteta is desperately crying in interviews, saying that the bench is too short, we need more players, I need more money, Kroenkes have all the excuses and reasons to turn to Mikel Arteta and say, listen, dumbass, we gave you 800 million. You didn't sign a striker. It's your fault. We are paying you 15 million a season. You are our shield. So they don't latch on, so the fan base doesn't screw us over and don't scream at us, but that you protect us. You are our shield. So do your job and just protect us. Say what you will, whatever it takes at the end of the day. Imagine Dragons, whatever it takes. All those settings. So in this instance, as much as to some extent I could blame Kroenkes, I more blame Mikel Arteta and Edu over these last 5 years. Obviously, I can easily blame Kroenkes for signing Mikel Arteta in the first place because we are in this mess right now, but it is what it is. since he's here, we have to look at the evidence, and evidence shows that Mikel Arteta, after 800 million spent, hasn't signed a replacement for Aubameyang after 4 years. So for me, that all falls on Mikel Arteta ultimately. And then he's asking for more money. He comes out in interviews and says, "Oh, we haven't invested in attack as much as other teams." Well, whose fault is that then? Because you have no problem spending about nearly 300 million on defense alone, nearly 300 million on midfield alone, and only 120 million on the attack? And that includes signing Kai Havertz, signing, what's its face? Trossard, who was on the outs with Brighton at the time. Well, let's not forget, he wants to sign a left winger as well, because he has tried to replace Martinelli already 2-3 times. There is no what's its face? There is no proper explanation to the fact that you are willing to spend 80 million on Mudryk. Obviously that worked out well for us, we dodged the bullet, but there's no chance you're willing to spend 80 million on Mudryk to put him on the bench behind Martinelli. So he has these plans to replace Martinelli at some point, 100%. They probably look at wage boosts for Ranieri, Skelly, Saliba, etc. Won't commit too much. Exactly. They want actually to extend Saliba's contract because Saliba is getting closer to that point where he can just piece the scene. Tierney, doubt Dortmund will make signings till new coaches in. Who knows? Like, there is still a week. We sold Nketiah and signed Sterling. Exactly. Be excited, they said. Be excited. United looking at heaven. Dude, if they get Isaac Heaven, man, it's bad enough that they got Chido Martin for nothing. If they get Isaac Heaven as well, seriously. I blame both Kroenke and Arteta. To be honest, I do it as well, but I blame more Arteta. Obviously, I can easily... There is that partial thing where I can blame Kroenke for the fact that they have even signed Arteta in the first place, and that it should start from there. But at the same time, they have bagged the manager. They have given him funds, quite insane amount of funds. Let's be real. Wenger never got this money. Emery never got this money. Arteta only has. So ultimately, it falls quite heavily on Mikel Arteta, the fact that we haven't signed a striker. All the clubs know that Arsenal are, and this is the biggest thing, all the clubs know that Arsenal are in the need of a striker and they are ready to make things. Exactly, that is the biggest thing now. Everyone in the world, even the ones that live under a rock, knows that Arsenal are in desperate need for a striker. And if we go to any club whatsoever in the world, we want to take their top guy up front. It means they can ask whatever they want, unless he has release clauses, obviously. But they can ask whatever the hell they want. You either pay or you don't get him. Because if you pay, we get a lot of money, we can sign a replacement, and you get your player. If you don't pay the money, we can keep our player, and we're happy. It's your issue to deal with now. It's Arsenal's issue to deal with. It's only on Arsenal. It's not on any other team. They can easily ask whatever they want for him. That is the big thing. They can easily go out and ask whatever they want for him. There are some news on Cunha, obviously. Apparently, Wolves have no plans to sell Mateusz Cunha this transfer window, despite interest from Arsenal and Forest and other top clubs. Wolves are adamant that the Brazilian is a key part of their squad and will stay there at least until the end of the season. This will be very interesting because these rumors are very contradicting. This guy also is not the most reliable one. But these rumors are very contradicting because he puts this out, then few hours later, or maybe sooner, I don't remember, this also came out. Nottingham Forest are ready to make a club record offer for Wolves' Mateusz Cunha. Then there's Cunha had personal term talks. It's basically all up in the air. Go figure. They're all contradicting each other, basically cancelling each other out in terms of rumors. So in a way, I kind of wish the transfer window just closed because then I wouldn't need to listen and read this shit show every single bloody day. Arsenal talks with the Juventus with Dusan Vlahovic have broken down. I'm not sure there were any talks whatsoever, to be honest, with Dusan Vlahovic. I think it was just all PR and everything. I know that Juventus have signed Colomwani on loan and everything, but that doesn't mean that Vlahovic has to leave as well. And I think this was all PR. There's no chance Arsenal were actually in for him. It was just some yellow page story. However, this player though, I would take at Arsenal. I'm not gonna lie. He's the guy, Douglas Luiz. He even scored directly from a corner against us a few seasons ago. Apparently, Juventus have offered Chelsea the opportunity to sign Douglas Luiz, who is also on the radar of Man City and Arsenal. And that is very interesting because Arsenal obviously wanted to sign Douglas Luiz for 35-40 million 2 seasons ago. It didn't happen. Then he resigns, and half a year later he moves to Juventus. Obviously, willingly or forced, that who knows, because Alicia Lehmann, of course, I don't know how that is happening. What was deal with that and everything, the package deal. But ultimately, yeah. Now fast forward a bit, and now even Man City want him. They need the number 6, because I don't think Man City gonna do anything like serious this season unless they sign a 6 by the end of the window. They have signed 2 defenders. They just announced Marmoush today, which means they need to sign a midfielder, number 6. They need a Rodri replacement. They cannot keep playing Rico Lewis, Kovacic, Gundogan in that 6 role because they're gonna get annihilated on consistent basis. They lost 4-2 to PSG from being 2-0 up. Imagine that. In half an hour they went from 2-0 up to 4-2 down. But yeah, Douglas Luiz, I'm not gonna lie, if we could sign him for about 35-40 million, again, I would take him at Arsenal really quickly. I would love for him to be at Arsenal. I was on board signing Douglas Luiz even when he was at Aston Villa, and Arsenal were linked with him. I wanted him. And now it looks like he's a bit on the outside Juventus, not enough game time and everything. I would take him. I genuinely would take him at Arsenal. 100%. Cunha will sign for Nottingham Forest. That could be the case. That for me is the biggest thing. He actually could. Maybe not. If it doesn't happen in January, it could actually happen in summer. The big thing is Nottingham Forest are slowly showing that they are a strength to reckon with, right? Santos is doing an excellent job there as well. So the big question is, if they sign Cunha now, oh boy, how hard they will push for top 4. That will make the top 4 for Arsenal to achieve 10 times harder, let's be real. So what's going to happen with that? Maybe Edu has some pull on Mateusz Cunha as well. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Maybe Edu has some pull there as well. Maybe. And here is the Kieran Tierney story that Nathan really was talking about. Kieran Tierney is on the verge of agreeing a pre-contract with Celtic, which would see him join Scottish Premiership champions when his contract expires in the summer. Cunha doesn't really... Yeah, people think he's not a winger. He is not a winger. People say, oh, he can play there, but can he really? That is the big thing. For me, Mateusz Cunha is not the answer. He's not the guy. And if you tell me that if we sign him for 70, 80 million, oh, that something will happen very bad on this stream. If Arsenal pay actually something for him. For 35, 40 million, I would take Mateusz Cunha as a secondary striker. Like that Bobby Firmino type of role. I would take him in that role, yes. And complement him with Kai Havertz up top, as wild as it sounds. Or the striker we sign, obviously. But for the fact that to play him as a left wing, right wing, and everything, I wouldn't take him. Some people are saying he could play as an 8. Give me a fucking break. Don't want to see him in any of those roles at Arsenal. He is not the guy. He is not the answer. He's a 10-second. Exactly. He's a secondary striker. Exactly. At least that's how I see it. I don't know how other people see it. But at least I don't see it the way other people see it. Obviously, that's why it's so fun to debate these things. This is an interesting one. Remember Santiago Jimenez? We were linked with him. He yesterday scored two goals against Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich lost at Rotterdam 3-0 to Feyenoord yesterday in Champions League. And apparently AC Milan are already in negotiations for Santiago Jimenez and will have to pay between 35 to 40 million to convince Feyenoord to sell. So if we translate into pounds, that's 30 to 35 million, something like that. Would you take him at Arsenal? We have been linked with him for about two summers now. I think 2 summers or something like that. We've been linked with him for quite a while. Obviously, he not in this article, but in general. Would you take Santiago Jimenez at Arsenal? That is the next question I'm putting up for a debate for you lot. Obviously, we talked about Boniface, but would you take Santiago Jimenez? Santiago Jimenez. Here we go. Mexican striker. Champions League. 4 games, 4 goals, 1 assist. Eredivisie. 11 games, 7 goals, 1 assist. Quite small. Oh, bit my tongue. Small amount of games. Is he like... was he injured or something? Was he injured? Because that now is the big thing. Because if he's injury prone, I don't want him at Arsenal instantly. Oh, he missed 12 games this season with thigh problems. Okay. And he gets injured quite... He has been injured 3 times. Quite, like... It looks like a lot. But he's missed only 1 game 2 years ago, 3 games last year, and, well, obviously 12 games this year. And that was a thigh problem. Obviously, muscle injuries is a very hard thing to come back from and heal in general. But ultimately, would you take him at Arsenal? 35 million pounds. Or let's just say 35 to 40 million pounds. Santiago Jimenez to Arsenal. Would you take him? Yeah, Kieran Tierney will be missed, unfortunately. Yeah, injuries. 1 big injury, thigh injury, missed 12 games. But the question is, if Arsenal were... Because we were linked with him last summer, we are not linked with him now. He's signing for AC Milan. AC Milan have... Who they have up front? They have... what's his face? Abraham? They have... Yeah, they don't have actually a designated not striker. They don't have the days of Zinchenko and stuff like that, of course. So... Santiago Jimenez, if Arsenal were in for him... Until the summer, at least. Till we can maybe try and sign someone big. Would it be a viable option? Would it be a viable option? Would you take him? Another question I'm presenting to you lot. Would you take him? That is the big question right here. Anyhow, we keep moving. We keep bloody moving. Fuck off. Anyhow, no. Misclick, my bad. Here we go. This is a wild one, by the way. This is a wild one. Loan. You think Feyenoord would loan him out? There's no reason for them to loan him out unless there's an obligation to buy. Unless there's an obligation to buy, I don't see them loaning him out. Anyhow. It's taken this was DR Sports what put out. Basically what AFTV put out. Let's just put it that way, right? It's taken Kai Havertz 21 fewer games to match his goal tally from last season. It has taken him 21 games less from last season to reach 14 goals in all competitions. So the big question is, what's the difference? Oh right, he played more than half a season as a midfielder last year. He played more than half a season as a midfielder last year. No wonder he wasn't scoring those amount of goals, why it took him so long. Oh, wait, he's not as impactful from a midfield as well. Yes, he scored some goals from the midfield, but ultimately, he didn't score that amount of goals. It's because he was in the midfield. Freaking dumbasses. Anyways, you wanna... Now, can we check other strikers? Strikers like who? Like Jackson, Watkins, etc. this season. Oh, yeah. Oh, you want to see the stats of goals and everything? You think this? You want to see this? Nicholas Jackson. Here we go. Nicolas Jackson. 23 years old, from Senegal. 21 games, 9 goals, 4 assists in Premier League. Oh, you want all comps. Here we go. All competitions. 22 games, 9 goals, 4 assists. 13 points out of 22 games. 13 points out of 22 games. He was on fire at one point, wasn't he? Ollie Watkins. Let's see what has Ollie Watkins done this season. 30 games. Holy crap, that's a lot of games. 10 goals, 7 assists. So 17 points out of 30 games. So basically he gets a point every other game. Not too bad. Next one. Let's look at John Duran. Duran. Let's look at that guy. Let's look at John Duran. How is he looking this season? All competitions. 28 games, 12 goals. He just bags goals. He doesn't assist whatsoever. So, what was Havertz on? In all comps. Havertz in all competitions. Welbeck, Wood and Solanke. In a second. Havertz has 14 goals for... So Havertz actually in all competitions has 1 point more than Ollie Watkins. Overall, if you look at these things. Has 1 more. Danny Welbeck. 34 years old. Holy crap. All competitions. 19 games, 6 goals, 2 assists. Nothing much, I'm not gonna lie. Chris Wood is gonna be nuts. I think so. 7 million only. Lol. 33 years old. 23 games, 14 goals, 2 assists. In Premier League, he has 16 points in 22 games. Now that is some proper attackership. And he's doing that at Nottingham Forest, you know. Not at a big club where he has serviced for like from Kevin De Bruyne or someone like that. He actually... It's actually kind of nuts if you think about it. He actually is doing that at Nottingham Forest. You want Solanke as well. Solanke in 29 games, 11 goals, 6 assists. He's on the same amount of points as Kai Havertz overall. As wild as it sounds. 17 points out of 29 games. This is actually kind of nuts if you come to think about it. It's actually kind of nuts. I envy Salah of Liverpool. No wonder he's irreplaceable. Yep, he is. I assume Julian Alvarez. He has been somewhat on fire recently for Atletico Madrid, hasn't he? In Premier League, not that impressive. 16 goals, 2 assists in 31 games. He has scored 6 goals in Champions League. 4 goals in Copa del Rey. He scores every single game. And in La Liga, he has 6 goals, 2 assists. Huh. Wait. I kind of have a weird feeling about this. Exactly. He plays full 90s quite a few. But Atletico Madrid don't score that many goals if you think about it. No wonder he has very low stats. See, they lost 1-0. 1-0, 1-2, 1-2. Okay, 4-3, 5-0. He scored and assisted there. 2-1, 1-0. He scored only goal. 2-0, 1-0, 3-1, 1-1, 1-1. They score more than 2 goals very rarely. Very rarely. Mostly it's a 1-goal games. No wonder he doesn't have a big amount of points in general. It's not a surprise, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, Olise was the one. Kid you not. Olise was the one we should have signed in summer. 45 million for that guy. And Arsenal decided, nah, I don't wanna. Imagine, we sold Emil Smith-Rowe and didn't replace him. Imagine, we loaned out Nelson and Fabio Vieira and did not replace them. Imagine, we loaned in Raheem Sterling instead of signing Olise. Imagine that. Zinchenko. Oh wow. Today, on this day, Arsenal signed for 20 million Kivior. Woohoo! Happy Kivior Day. Arsenal retain interest in Šeško, but deals signed players increasingly unlikely this month. So we are not signing anyone this month, ultimately. That's what they're saying. We are not signing anyone. Leipzig, Kai Havertz. I'll see, even Sporting director, Leipzig's managing director, there is definitely no contact with any other club. He will continue to wear the RB Leipzig jersey. So he is not moving. Let's be real. He is not moving whatsoever. Leipzig they responded, submit opening offer. Manchester United. Oh, that's the Isaac Heaven one. Chelsea offered Ethan Vanieri a British record contract for a teenager to leave Arsenal at the beginning of 2024. Ethan Vanieri declined the deal and chose to stay at Arsenal, who didn't match ridiculous numbers. It should be signed still a young player. If you want to play for this football club, you'll get a chance. Well, respect. I actually really like Ethan Vanieri, I'm not gonna lie. Really, really like Ethan Vanieri. By the way, on a side note, what Arsenal did yesterday. Arsenal yesterday released new merch before the Champions League game. Perfect timing since everyone came in and they could have bought new merch. NPC jacket, by the way. At Arsenal Direct, NPC jacket. Non-playable character. Holy crap, can we be more of a meme? Can we be more of a meme? NPC jacket. Dude, you know who are NPCs in usually in the games? They are bots. Dude, we have, and I kid you not, apparently, I haven't checked this because I haven't counted, right? But I was on a stream and of Arsenal fans, and we were chatting and everything, and they said that Arsenal this season have released 12 different merches, 5 different kits, about 4 or 5 different jackets and everything, like, you know, Ian Wright's, the baseball style, this NPC one, everything. Arsenal have 12 wins in Premier League this season. We have released the same amount of merch this season as we have won games this season. I'm not kidding. This is actually kind of insane if you think about it. That is actually insane if you think about it. If a player like Isak comes to Arsenal, he will score... Oh, easily. Easily he would score more than 20. Even though our playstyle doesn't fully fit him, he would still bag 20 goals without shadow of a doubt. Juventus agree a deal with Chelsea to sign Renato Veiga. Manchester United have made contact for Arsenal's under-18 Aiden Heaven. If we sell Aiden Heaven, I might get hell angry. The next stream might be actually kind of nuts, to say the least. Napoli president De Laurentiis, who asked about who can guarantee to me that he's gonna score 20 goals. See, he knows this. Could a quote reported by readers added context? Lol. Anyways, there's nothing regarding Arsenal. Not from Fabrizio, no nothing. This is painful, not gonna lie. As an Arsenal fan, watching all this is hell of a pain. You know, Newcastle, 150 million. Then we can sell Isak. I still say Gordon is better than Williams. I get that. I totally get that. I understand that. And I can see that as well, by the way. The big thing is, there is this thing that is going around in the rumor mill, at least regarding Newcastle, that if Newcastle don't get Champions League next season, right? They don't finish in top 4 or they win the cups and all that. One of those, right? Don't get Champions League. Isak actually might leave because there are guarantees for Champions League. And on top of that, if Newcastle don't get Champions League, they might be forced to sell one of their big guys. And basically one of those big guys is either Bruno Guimaraes, either Gordon or Isak. One of the 3 they will be forced to sell. On the other side, playing devil's advocate here, the same thing was said this summer and none of that happened. So what the hell do they know, actually? But yeah, it's very weird around that. The, the sad part is, we talked about this on the stream on a consistent basis. The year when we signed Jesus, Arsenal could have signed Isak. 70 million in summer. Arsenal said it's too much, he's not that high of a value type of player. Now fast forward 2 years, Arsenal are willing to pay 100 plus million for him. Well, according to rumors, but you get what I mean. Same thing goes for Bruno Guimaraes. We wanted Bruno Guimaraes. He decided to go to Newcastle instead of Arsenal. And then he trolled us with an announcement video as well. We are just a meme at the end of the day. Lewis Hall as a left back. Oof. That would be kind of interesting to see. The thing is though, we are naming these players. Again, look at it from the other dimension. Would he fit into Arteta's system? Because we all know that this manager is not gonna adjust the system to fit the player, but he's gonna adjust the player for the system. We all know that. We genuinely all know that. That is the biggest thing. Mostly because he's very inconsistent. If he can perform on this type of level throughout the whole season, not just half a season or a few months, then there will be. And also, it's the fact that in previous seasons, he hasn't been like this. He's been very questionable. When he was at Roma and even at Leipzig, he was labeled as a failed talent. So, I think if he can sustain this level till the end of the season, or at least near that, then he will be talked about a lot. Bournemouth could maybe cash in big time on him, if push comes to shove. But anyways, guys, I think on that note, I'm gonna end today's stream. Hope you had a great time, nice chat. Peace out, Nathan. Thanks for dropping by on the chat and everything. Big up, my guy. Hope you had a great time. If you still haven't liked the thing, subscribe, hit that bell. Leave your thoughts down in comments below. But for today, I am out. Of course, tomorrow we are doing Arsenal preview because I think we are playing on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. Friday. And yeah, Saturday, 3 p.m. we are playing against Wolves. So tomorrow there will be Wolves preview and hopefully maybe some advancements in terms of Arsenal. Maybe we'll actually sign or sell someone to sign. Time will only tell. But yeah, for today, I am out. Take care, stay safe, have a nice evening, have a nice tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, last work day, so yay, more sleep on weekend. But yeah, for today, I am out. Bye.